Welcome to the Karmic Path with your hosts, Tina Irwin and Laura Van Tyne. Join us as we dive into the normal and the paranormal to break through the darkness and to help you realize how karma, spiritual law, and psychic ability all combine to open the doors of understanding. This is the place where we build the karmic connections between science, psychology, and spirituality. But can we change our karmic path? Can we help someone else's karma? Stay tuned and join us for an opportunity to look at life and spirituality from a down-to-earth, no-nonsense, practical perspective. The Karmic Path radio show with Laura and Tina, Better Karma for Better Living, starts now.
Welcome, everyone, to the final show of the Karmic Path.
Say what?
At 4 o'clock. This is the very last show at 4 o'clock for the Karmic Path. And our passion is karma, but it's not just karma, it's helping the dead, which is ultimately why in our heart of hearts we're ghost helpers, not ghost hunters. And we're aware that our karmic path is helping the dead and understanding the paranormal. And so we want to thank you for sharing the journey with us of moving from explaining the karma of day to day to understanding the mysterious marriage between the normal and the paranormal world. So, Laura, let's talk a little bit about why we're moving.
So a couple of months ago, my husband and I were talking, and he just sort of looked at me and he says, why isn't your business mission the same as your life mission? And it was just like one of those aha moments, right? It's like, because what Tina and I do when we're not doing this show or prepping for the show is...
And it isn't Halloween.
It's Halloween every day in our houses. No, I'm kidding. What we do is we tend to work with clients and helping them with paranormal or unusual issues, basically. And so it really got me thinking, and I started talking to Tina. It's like, this is kind of, he's right. And, people out there who are married, don't you hate it when your spouses are right?
Well, no, I think we should give credit. I mean, your husband did a really good thing.
A really good point. And so ironically, later that day, I don't know if it was producer Kat or Jessica, somebody called me about something from the station. And I said, by the way, what do you think about this concept? And we're so grateful to Dr. Pat and the entire team at TTR. They just jumped on this and they're like, oh my God, yes. And so we're going to be moving the Karmic Path. The Karmic Path stops day after over 3 years of doing Karmic Path.
Oh, not on TTR, but 3 years of doing a Karmic Path podcast.
On different radio stations and stuff. So we've been doing this, and starting next week, we are going to be on Thursdays at 10 a.m. and the same stations. And you can still find us on the Karmic Path Facebook page and on Instagram. Everything Karmic Path will carry it. And we're transitioning things to Ghost Helpers, which is going to be the name of the new show, is Ghost Helpers, because that's what we do. When you help souls who are stuck between dimensions, you're helping the living and the dead.
And you'll be able to find out more on ghosthelpers.com, which is sort of under construction.
It's under construction. We're
because
moving
we're
fast.
Always a work.
Well, we're moving fast.
We're always a work in progress.
Yeah. So some more than others. No, I'm kidding. So this concept of ghost helpers.
I think it's kind of fun to talk about where the concept came from. And I have known Greg Friedman from Laguna Beach for a long time.
We have known him for a long time. We have known him,
but I did radio with him before you and I got started.
Who do you think introduced you?
But anyway, we have done several shows with him. And in one of the shows, we were being asked a ton of questions. And so Greg says...
Well, he says, oh my gosh, you guys are ghost helpers, not ghost hunters. And it was like, that was one of those aha moments. He's like, you're so right. And so when we look at a ghost hunter, that concept of a ghost hunter, we can see him on certain TV stations around, the cable internet. A ghost hunter will come in and validate, yes, this house is haunted. Yes, there's a problem. Yes, the family has these paranormal issues. They don't go beyond that much. That's where we're different. And I'm going to say where we're better and different, because we can help people solve these problems. And that's what we were talking to Greg from on. Greg has a radio show called Inner Journey on KX 93.5 out of Laguna Beach. And totally check out Inner Journey with Greg Friedman. It's a great show. And he's got some heavy hitters out lately that he's having shows with.
Us?
Yes, like Marianne Williamson, James Van Prague, a few of these guys. So check out that. It's a great show. And anyway, so we're on the show and we're talking about ghost helpers. And we go home, and the first thing I did was I Google searched ghosthelpers.com, and it wasn't available. And I thought, oh, well, that's okay. That's a cool idea, but someone else has this domain. 2 years later, we are working on publishing the Ghost Stories from the Ghost Point of View Volume 3 book. And I'm quietly working in my office, and I literally feel this tap on a shoulder. And I hear this voice that says, look up ghosthelpers.com now. Okay, there's no one in my house. Okay.
Okay, so this is an example of the paranormal being very normal for you.
Yeah, very normal, very helpful.
Yep.
And so I go to ghosthelpers.com, and it says available. And I'm like, interesting. So I called up GoDaddy, who is our host provider, and I said, okay, I want to buy this site. And it looks like it came up, and he looks it up and he goes, oh my gosh, that came available 10 minutes ago.
You cannot make this stuff up.
No,
really.
10 minutes ago, it became available. And this is 2 years after our conversation with Greg on Inner Journey. And I said, what do I need to buy? What do I need to do to buy it? And he says, well, it was a big, long process of auctions and this and that. So, and we ended up getting the Ghost Helpers domain. And I thought that was pretty darn cool.
I think it is cool, which goes to show you that it was meant to be, and someone's looking out for us. And in this crazy world that we operate in, it's a very nice feeling to think that someone on another level
is looking
not
out for
bad
us.
is looking out for you for something really good.
Yes. And I think we can all relate to that. So that's how the Ghost Helpers thing started. And we are so excited that the people at Transformation Talk Radio are on board with us. Not only are they not on board with it, they are so excited about this change.
Not only are they on board with it.
Okay, thank you for fixing my grammar.
Well, it's just that it's...
No, you're right. You're right. So we are thrilled that they have been helping us create new graphics and promos and all kinds of things. And so we're very, very grateful to that. So starting next week, starting September 5th, we are on at 10 a.m. and it is the Ghost Helpers show. And we're
the Ghost Helpers show, where the
paranormal
meets the normal.
Yeah.
And
so
basically the paranormal is becoming more normal than you think.
Yeah. And everybody has had a paranormal experience, and sometimes you kind of question it or not, but it happens. So, all right. So this is the universe working in our favor, and we're pretty thrilled about it.
Yeah. We feel like this is kind of a new, fresh start, and it's a profound passion for both of us. And I want to start out by saying that we've both crossed over many family members. I've personally crossed over 6 family members.
Yeah, and I've crossed over probably about the same amount. And the ability to help a loved one cross over, because the whole concept of ghost helpers is that a ghost is a soul who is stuck between dimensions. And we're going to be talking about this on the Ghost Helper show, but right now, those living people have a physical, mortal body, and we all exit this physical body, right? We exit this physical body, and then what happens? Ideally, we cross over and we go home. But many times, souls get stuck between dimensions. And when that happens, it's heartbreaking, because only when we are afforded the ability to go home do we receive soul healing, restoration, guidance, counseling. We don't receive it as a ghost.
Well, let's talk about the client we had who was very troubled with drugs and alcohol. And she died, I think it was within the last year.
Yeah, a couple months ago.
And when she died, I mean, she had a
tough life. And
tough life. It's really bad.
Her whole life was about substance abuse. And when we crossed her over, she couldn't believe the goodness that was waiting for her, because she was stuck between dimensions. What tortured her in life now tortured her in death.
She didn't get any relief. Death did not help her. And I think that's that's a really important thing to understand.
So when we crossed her over, it broke the cycle. And what happened, because she died of basically a drug overdose, her frequency was even lower than normal, or of a normal person who's not an addict. And all of these dark beings were starting to glom onto her as a ghost. And I know that sounds scary. And who wants that for their family member, no matter how horrible their family member was? You don't want that. And
so let's talk for a second. What would have happened to her if we hadn't crossed her over?
She would have just lingered in that tortured state for an eternity. And even then, when she would reincarnate, she would not reincarnate from the heaven world, which is a really scary thought.
She would have reincarnated from this dark place. And the broken soul she was in life became the same broken soul she was in death. And then she reincarnates as a broken soul. At what point is that cycle of feeling broken inside changed, shifted, and healed? And I think that's a really important point. And there's a lot of karma attached to helping a person who's died and who has no capacity or understanding of what are they supposed to do. And we do it without judgment, without prejudice, in a very simple way. And over the course of our new show, we're going to be actually going over that even more. And basically, you're still listening to Transformation Talk Radio, and this is the last show of the Karmic Path.
And so you're listening to the Karmic Path on Transformation Talk Radio. We want to thank our sponsors, the Oil Lounge, for bringing this to you. And with that, we will be right back.
Have you ever wondered if there's a way to heal the deep, hidden inner issues, wounds, beliefs, and traumas? The journey into spiritual healing engages people in all areas of their lives to heal themselves and others. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as Dr. Jaffe brings conversations of healing of body, mind, and spirit as he merges the excellence of traditional medicine with the beauty of spiritual healing. For more information about Dr. Jaffe, this show, and his work, visit drjaffemd.com.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Tap into the wisdom of animals, angels, and masters with Darcy Pariso on Animal Soul Wisdom Radio. Tune in monthly as Darcy brings insights on how to better understand and deepen our relationships with animals. Working with light and pureness of ancient techniques, Darcy, healer, animal communicator, and medium, is here to guide you through this process and provide inspiration to move forward. For more information about working with Darcy, visit darcypariso.com.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
The Truth is Funny. Shift Happens with Colette Marie Steffen is excited to welcome Karen Benton as a monthly guest host. Tune in on the third Wednesday of each month at 8 a.m. Pacific Time to regain confidence and trust in your capacity to create change in your life, your health, your family, and your well-being. Karen Benton is a mother, nurse practitioner, certified body talk practitioner, Franklin Method instructor, and owner of Limitless Living LLC. For more information about Karen, visit KarenBenton.com.
Learn and explore fascinating and practical uses of essential oils, how to use them, and how they can enhance your everyday life. The Oil Lounge was founded by 3 remarkable women with fascinating stories about how essential oils changed their lives. Tina and Laura from the Karmic Path have joined forces to educate the masses in the benefits of Young Living essential oils. For more information, visit theoillounge.com.
Welcome back to the Karmic Path, the radio show. This is our last show of the Karmic Path after over 3 years. And with that, Tina.
As we've talked to people about helping their dead relatives or clear their haunted house, they actually told us that this makes so much sense, especially when we shared the crossing over prayer. And with our new show, we will be sharing, starting out with a ghost story that explains a specific principle, and it's going to be really exciting. We had a big powwow this morning about all the new episodes that we're going to have. It's like, wow, where do we begin? And so we had a lot of requests just to tell ghost stories, and we noticed that most of our testimonials were clearing houses.
As we're looking through this and we're working with the marketing team and we're looking at our testimonials, because we do get testimonials every single week and we love them and we love hearing from you, but pretty much almost all of our 99.5% of our testimonials have to do with something paranormal.
Because the paranormal is more normal than you think. So, maybe the universe really is trying to tell us something.
Yeah, maybe we finally got the memo.
Yeah.
Although we've loved doing the Karmic Path, and it's bittersweet, but we're excited for this new turn here.
And the week where we were guest hosts on another station and we were talking about ghost busting myths, our numbers just really skyrocketed. Yeah, and so with that, it was another. I know we just lost some sound there. With that, it really helped us focus in on maybe we should be changing things. Maybe we should be doing things differently. Okay, so we're going to be delving into the paranormal world on a whole new level. And because we're people who have already journeyed to hell and back.
Every day.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with a ghost who is a pedophile, or you're dealing, this is not fun stuff, but.
Or someone who died and they were really, really angry at the whole world, which is why they are no longer living, or they're angry because they died and they thought they were going to have a much longer life. And they need to project that anger on someone.
Well, and how do you explain what's happening to you if you have some odd thing going on that there's no explanation? Chances are it's paranormal, not all the time, but chances are it is. And what do you do about it? It's not like, back when the early days of my child, my then 5-year-old or 4-year-old was super psychic and I didn't know what to do. How do I help her? It's not like I could there's no parenting psychic kids book, although we're working on that one. Where do you go to find information that's trustworthy and reliable and is truthful? That's the big issue.
Right. And we say we're really ordinary people. And I guess the point of that is that we've walked some unusual paths, but then so have a lot of other people. And what we're doing is we're shining a light on some of the more unusual things that happen to individuals that kind of dance around the paranormal, but we're just kind of jumping into the deep end of the pool. And so as we say goodbye to the Karmic Path, we thought it would be kind of fun to take a stroll down memory lane, especially since working with Transformation Talk Radio gave us an opportunity to do Facebook Live and be on camera every single week. And that was a huge learning curve for both of us.
Well, before we were with another radio station and then there was no video, right? And so I would always quip, I've got a great face for radio. And then Transformation Talk Radio and producer Kat sticks a camera in front of our face.
Exactly. So
be careful about sarcasm, people.
Exactly. I mean, we've done 180 shows for the Karmic Path.
Yeah.
And the last, the last 7-8 months we're now on Facebook Live. So some of the highlights of the Karmic Path we thought we would share are sort of what it took for us to get ready to do this show, because you could write novels about what we didn't know, like lighting and sound. And
and producer Kat and the team were super helpful on, how the lighting and getting us there. And also, by the way, so was Greg from Inner Journey. He actually came down to our studio and said, "You ladies need help."
He did. And he said, "You need better photography." So we did have a photo shoot, and that was a big help. And then we realized that if you're on a camera, then you have to look a whole lot better than when you roll out of bed. And I'm not being sarcastic. When you roll out of bed, you have what God gave you. And sometimes God was very good to you. And sometimes God said, "Need a little help here, kid?"
Yeah.
So we decided
Did
that.
you see how she was looking at me and pointing at me when she said that? Yeah.
What we did was we went to some professionals and said, and we want to thank Nordstrom's actually, because
they were super helpful.
They were really helpful on more than one occasion. But what do you do with these faces?
Right. And so, one of the things we learned is, for me, it was how important eyebrows are, because although I technically have eyebrows, they match my skin. So it looks like I don't have any. So
eyebrows frame your face.
They do.
There's a whole industry all around eyebrows.
I had no idea what I was missing all these years. I know that sounds terrible, but I just never noticed the eyebrows.
Well, now you do.
I know, right?
They were important. They were really important. Then came eyelash drama. And for men, they're going to go, "Oh, yeah, what are these women talking about?" If you're on camera and you don't have eyelashes, it looks like some weird thing happened to your eyes. And what people don't realize is that everybody who's on camera, especially television, is wearing either false eyelashes or these new lashes that have pieces of silk in them, which I need more of, by the way. And even if you're wearing glasses, your eyelashes are still a very dominant feature of your face. So, oh my gosh, we had to learn what works and what doesn't.
We have to match, but not be too matchy. Although today we were too matchy, and as soon as the show's over, I'll post the too matchy thing on our Karmic Path Instagram page, because we ended up, Tina comes into the studio and we're wearing the same necklace. So we flipped a coin about who got to change her necklace. And
it was me. It was me. Of course, you're at my house, so I have more access to stuff.
You just blew the illusion. What the heck, man?
Yeah, well.
What?
Oh, well.
I'm so disappointed in you.
You'll get over it.
No, I won't. No, I won't.
Well, we had to become our own wardrobe mistresses. And then we looked at each other and went, "Oh my gosh, we have to go shopping."
Yeah. So, darn. So there's a lot of pre-production in this as we're learning. And then also, Greg, from Inner Journey helped us with the lighting. And then we had somebody Nancy from New York, who says, "Okay, you ladies need better sound." Okay. And we listened to her, and we're very grateful because it really helped us. And so that was super helpful. And I'll never forget that, because it changed the way we're doing our show.
Well, none of the energy of putting it together and learning that false eyelashes are really a nightmare to put on. And,
the other thing we learned? Pee before the show starts.
Yes, well, I'm a person who does a lot of lists. It's a naval officer. Proper prior planning prevents.
Yeah.
Pitifully poor performance.
Yeah. So looking back through some of our Karmic Path shows, what was one of your highlights?
Highlights would be a tough word to use, but I have to say the show that seemed to get the largest response every time we did it was the show on suicide and helping someone who's taking their own life cross over, and how huge that was for people. And it, we do have a prayer on suicide, and we have a course on healing the grief of suicide, which you can find on the Karmic Path, on Courses for the Karmic Path. And it's a very reasonably priced course, but it talks about how to understand what happens in suicide. But the shows we did, where we gave example after example, which we're actually going to be doing in September a little bit more.
Examples, though.
Some different examples, where we're going to talk about that in a slightly different way. And so what was a highlight for you?
I really liked when we had Karen Dietz on, and she talks about the origin of storytelling. Like, what's your origin story? For me, I think that's something that everybody needs to know. What is your origin story? And if you go filter back through some of our past shows, you can find the show with Karen Dietz on it. And she wrote the business telling for story, the dummy series for business telling.
storytelling for business, which gives your origin story. And Karen's frame of reference was foster children. And it gave me a whole different understanding of how critically important family can be and how biology doesn't have to make a family if you can reach out and help someone else. And that was really powerful.
Her karmic service to foster youth, because in California, once you turn 18, you're pretty much let go. Well, parents of kids who are about 18 years old, what happens to your 18-year-old? Do you just shove them out the door, or are you still, parenting and coaching and helping? Of course we are. So her ability to help these kids tell their origin story so they have the confidence they need, they can present themselves well to, a university or a job prospect or something like that is huge. And she also mentioned just-in-time foster youth. So if you Google just-in-time foster youth, they have a ton of services that anybody can donate to. It's San Diego based. And they give these foster kids, they help them with leasing an apartment. They help them furnishing the apartment. They have a car problem. So that I thought was a fantastic show, because we all have an origin story, and nobody has the perfect origin story or has the perfect life, because we all have trials and tribulations and traumas and dramas.
Stuff happens to us. And if you're looking for a place where you can donate household goods or extra sheets and towels, again, the Just-in-Time Foundation is really helpful. And maybe you don't have one in the area where you live, or you're listening to this show, you're in a different state or a different country. Start one, make a difference. You never know how you could change someone's life. And so we are listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the last show of the Karmic Path. And we want to always thank our aromatically sponsored show from the Oil Lounge. I said that really clumsily.
Yeah, I'm rubbing off on you clearly, girlfriend.
And we will be right back after this break.
Your buzz for life buzzed off? Feeling ignored, invisible, and wondering if this is really all there is? The years go by faster as we gain momentum. You're halfway there. Are you gathering speed or puttering out? Hit your stride for the liberating half of life. Comfortable in your skin? You can do better than that. Tune in to Discovering You Again Radio every fourth Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific as host Susan Axelrod encourages listeners to decide what they want, get inspired to action, and face challenges head-on. Host Susan Axelrod pulls no punches, encouraging you to grab the brass ring and soar. For more information about Susan, go to www.whatwillyourlegacybe.com.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
What is holding you back from living the life you are meant to live? Why is it vital to believe in something bigger than yourself? Are you in physical or emotional pain? Tune in monthly to Vibrant Purposeful Living. Awaken the vibrant life within you with Lou Paradise and Dr. Pat on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Lou's passion is to help everyone experience positive solutions for life. Find out more about Lou with Vibrant Purposeful Living at LouParadise.com.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit TheTruthIsFunny.com.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
Tina Irwin, and this is the last show of the Karmic Path on Thursdays at 4. Starting next week, September 5th, we will be Thursdays.
The Ghost Helpers.
We will be the Ghost Helpers show where the paranormal is more normal than you think. I'll get that right eventually at 10 a.m. All right. Laura has another highlight of our shows.
One of my favorite shows, and maybe it's the public school teacher in me, was when we had Raquel from the Oil Lounge come in and talk about her experience as a 911 operator and what every parent should tell their child, what they should make their children know. And she talked about the basic things, like make sure your kid knows their address. And we were talking about this morning also. One of the things that parents really need to make sure their kids know, especially when they're little, is that your name is not mommy. If they get lost and some police officer or some helpful citizen says, what's your name? What's your mom's name? They'd say, mommy. That's not helpful. So, having children know their names and addresses and being aware of their surroundings, because you don't know when an emergency could happen.
How do you describe it? We also had Christiane and Misty from the Oil Lounge talk about the power of essential oils
and PTSD
and post-traumatic stress disorder. And in our psychic self-defense course, we do have a lot of discussions about the best use of essential oils for psychic self-defense.
And for what purpose? Right?
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Many of our listeners really love the episode we talked about having fun. Now, how basic is that kind of a concept? But we also talked about that it's okay to have fun if you're grieving. It's one of the hardest times because this feeling that this dark cloud that's enveloped you is shut down any hope that you could ever laugh or smile or have fun. Again, fun and grief don't mix at all. And yet, to be able to begin to keep going with your life, you don't move on because you're not ever going to forget the person who has passed away.
We have to learn how to live life differently.
Well, we also have to keep going. You get up, you put one foot in front of the other. Even though your heart's breaking, you keep going. And if you have children, it's okay to have fun. Even if you're an adult, sometimes it's okay to take that mantle of grief and set it aside for a little bit and to have a day where you do something that is fun and you don't feel guilty about it. We had a lot of comments about that.
Yeah, another show that I really liked was The Karma of Forgiveness, because we've all been hurt, some people more than others, and we have to understand that forgiving someone isn't forgetting what happened.
It doesn't. It's an Israeli concept.
Right. Forgiveness is not forgetness. And when we are dealing with forgiving somebody, karma does not have a timetable.
No. And I think one of the things that happened and that came across in that show was that people thought that if you forgave someone, it meant that what they did was okay. And that's not what that means. And I did a lot of studying about the Jews after the Holocaust and at the end of the Second World War. How did they cope with the traumas that happened to them? And I read several different stories, and each of them each of them who were found a way to forgive the Nazis. They said, we didn't forget what they did. How you couldn't possibly forget it. But when we forgave them, we set ourselves free. As long as we were holding on to that anger, and they had power over us.
But sometimes that ability to forgive somebody for something may not happen in this lifetime, and that can be okay.
It may mean that forgiveness is a process for each of us, and no one can tell you you should, you must, you have to. No clergyman, no one can say you have to do it and give you a timetable. Heavens no. It happens on your time and in a way that works for you.
And I think that's really an important concept to grasp, because that is really karma in action. If you have been abused or something horrible happened to you and somebody says, well, it's been 3 months, just get over it.
You're not going to get over it. And I think that this came up when we had a really powerful show about post-traumatic stress disorder and what constitutes PTSD, and that it's been around since time began. Soldier's Heart.
There's a lot of different names.
There were a lot of different names in each of the different wars. And so when you have a trauma, that trauma isn't going to leave you right away. It's an opportunity. It's a karmic opportunity to learn how to manage your life differently.
Also, we talked about adrenal support and supporting our adrenal glands, because the adrenaline is that proverbial bell that keeps ringing within us. If we have our adrenal glands are shot from a trauma, how do you cope with that? How do you calm that down?
I think that's a really crucial point, because the post-trauma is that the traumatic bell keeps ringing in the person's head. Keep reliving it, a sound, a smell, an action, a word, a voice, a name, keeps ringing the bell. And there are some wonderful techniques that were in that particular show that talk about bringing the ringing bell to a complete halt.
You know, this morning, I received a message from somebody who listens to the show, and we talk about essential oils on this and how they can help us. And so she went out and she bought, I believe it was Angelica essential oil, and she put it on her third eye when she went to bed that night. And the story she told me was, all of a sudden, the PTSD she had been suffering from somebody who had wronged her, in her dream, she gained her power back. And I thought that was so profound. And she asked, does this happen to everybody? It's like, no, but it happened to you, and it's valuable. It's helpful. So she used Angelica on her third eye, which is right on your forehead.
Right here. You can't pass your bangs.
And what ended up happening is she could separate herself from the trauma and look that perpetrator in the eye and say no more in her dream state. And it was very, very gratifying. And I thought that
and very empowering.
Very empowering. And I just thought that was so amazing and so cool. And I was so glad she shared that, because this is part of the power of essential oils.
One of the things that an essential oil can do, especially rose, basically they're Bulgarian roses, frankincense, myrrh, Angelica, and many, many other wonderful oils, they raise your personal frequency. And the frequency that echoes out throughout this force field we call our auric field, which has been talked about many, many times by many people especially in the New Age, but anywhere. We have a force field, and it's the medical term would be your immune system. The spiritual term is that it's your auric field. And when you use an essential oil, I happen to have sweet orange with me right now, but when you use an essential oil, you are raising your frequency, which creates a karmic ripple. What is the karmic ripple? It means that fewer things can get at you because you put shields up. And if you're using it every day, now you're in resonance with a higher and higher frequency. And the people who are beginning to surround you are people who have a higher frequency. And you begin to notice things. And we had another comment just this week from someone who said, I feel like as I'm on the spiritual path, more and more people are coming up to me and they're talking to me about more spiritual things. What's happening to me? And my answer is, well, you changed. And people are responding to your higher frequency and how you change, not because you run around with a sign that says higher frequency, coming away, make way, make way.
Well, and let's back up just a little bit, because we also did another show on our auric field, which is our force field. And we talked about the importance of working to raise our frequency baselines. The higher we can get our baseline, the easier we can deal with the traumas and the bumps and the bruises along this road of life.
And it means that fewer things in your body break down. I'm all for that. The longer you can keep the structure you came in with fully functioning, the better the better you can be. And essential oils have been used since, they figured out how to use them. And I mean, they found
there's actually some they found in the Egyptian tombs recently.
Not in the Great Pyramid, because that was never a tomb, but in other tombs called mastabas or, burial chambers, some of the oils were 5,000 years old and they still smelled perfectly amazing. And a true essential oil is such a high frequency, it's not going to turn rancid. That's how you know your perfume is of a high quality, or your aftershave. There's some aftershave that it's never going to go bad because it's made with true oils. And I know there's a lot of humor about, oh my gosh, the world's saved because of essential oils. But
they're helpful, but it's one of many things that can be helpful for us. And I just thought that this person that wrote in, I was really grateful she shared that, because it's really the ability to find tools that are helpful, that you can live a better life, a happier life, a life without PTSD, a life without,
And we talked about this in the book we have out called Karma and Frequency, which we did together. And we talk about how do you raise your frequency, because karmically, when you're raising your frequency, you can't change anyone else. You can only change yourself. So when you're raising your frequency, now people respond to you.
So that means I can't run around spraying people with essential oil in their face?
No, but I saw a woman on a plane. Actually, I thought she was going to do that. She had a bottle of sweet orange oil spray, and she was spraying everything in her seat. The little things above her, I fly a lot, in her window and her seat. And then she carefully got out wipes and she sprayed her tray table and she wiped her hands. And man, sitting behind her, it smelled good, right? Great. It was amazing. Okay. Well, it's time to go to a break.
We're going to go to a break right now. You're listening to the Karmic Path on Transformation Talk Radio, and we will be right back.
The Knowledge Book, currently studied in 39 countries and 15 languages around the world, accelerates our evolution, takes us out of depression, offers universal truths, protects us, and makes us stronger, both spiritually and physically. So if you are interested in the Knowledge Book, visit usa.theknowledgebook.net and tune in to the Knowledge Book Radio with Marge Potasic on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
What is a brilliant culture, and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
The Truth is Funny. Shift Happens with Colette Marie Steffen is excited to welcome Karen Benton as a monthly guest host. Tune in on the third Wednesday of each month at 8 a.m. Pacific Time to regain confidence and trust in your capacity to create change in your life, your health, your family, and your well-being. Karen Benton is a mother, nurse practitioner, certified body talk practitioner, Franklin Method instructor, and owner of Limitless Living LLC. For more information about Karen, visit KarenBenton.com.
Are you ready to create a life you'll really love? Then you'll want to tune in to the hit show Life Design Radio, From Adversity to Awesome with Susan DiLorenzo. Live each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com. No matter where you are in your adversity story, Life Design Radio has got you covered. Get ready to feel inspired, enlightened, and motivated. For more information about working with Susan, visit SusanDiLorenzo.com.
Healing has a ripple effect. One person's healing affects everyone around them. This is where the power of sharing our stories can be so important. Tune in to Playing on the Edge Radio with Megan Edge each month on Transformation Talk Radio, as Megan provides you with ways of sustaining radical and powerful changes in your life. Enact the power of radical change. To find out more about Megan Edge, visit her website at meganedge.ca.
Learn and explore fascinating and practical uses of essential oils, how to use them, and how they can enhance your everyday life. The Oil Lounge was founded by 3 remarkable women with fascinating stories about how essential oils changed their lives. Tina and Laura from the Karmic Path have joined forces to educate the masses in the benefits of Young Living essential oils. For more information, visit theoillounge.com.
Welcome back to the very last Karmic Path show on Transformation Talk Radio. And as we've said, next week we start at 10 a.m. on Thursday, September 5th, the Ghost Helper Show, where the paranormal is far more normal than you think. I got it right this time.
You got it right. I know. We're still working out some of those details. We're talking about some of our favorite show highlights. And Producer Kat, I got to ask, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you have a show that you particularly enjoyed?
Well, my personal favorite was The Karma of Governments. I'm a history nerd.
Okay. You know, I liked that show because we talked about Abraham Lincoln and how he was able to unite the United States. And then he exited off that stage, even though there were premonitions that he was going to be murdered. He still went there, right? He still went and saw half a play. I made her speechless.
Well, you know, that was
She's
a question.
Still speechless.
But Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? You never said. The point of the karma of government,
in all seriousness, yes,
was we were actually able to do a whole show without being political and upsetting somebody. Our focus was the karma that Lincoln was able to foresee, that these United States had to be united. However many were being admitted to the Union, because a lot of states were coming in, and it was, are they slave? Are they not slave?
Which would have divided the country.
And Lincoln said we had to be united, and we paid a big price for that. Over 800,000 people died.
And we fast forward a number of years, and now we have World War II.
World Wars I and II.
And because Lincoln made sure the United States was intact, we were able to help stop those wars.
And
how did that change the future of this planet?
I think that the British, struggled on valiantly, and Roosevelt and Churchill worked really hard to find a way that the United States could enter the war, because we were in a very isolationist frame of mind at the time. And unfortunately, Pearl Harbor really changed people's mind. Karma is never going to waste energy. That was one of the lessons. And we must always study history, not because we're taking one side or another, or this person was good or bad, but what was the karma of the situation? Because
lessons learned.
Because Lincoln, we suffered all those casualties. As World War II came, yes, there were still casualties, but we were able to bring about some level of balance that affected the entire world. It was a world, even more than World War I. World War II was truly a world war.
And it was a spiritual war.
Yes, there was a great master who lived during that time, and he said that World War II was won not just on the battlefields and above the skies of Europe, but in the Pacific. World War II was won because of the prayers, the volume of prayers sent by family members to end the war and bring peace to the war, bring peace to the world. And that was a spiritual war. And there was a level of darkness and evil that we had never seen before, that the Nazis brought to our consciousness. Maybe we wish we had never known of such horrors. We know, we must never forget. And the karma of governments was that we didn't punish the German people, because Hitler came into power with one vote. The 50% of the German people did not want this horror to happen. Very interesting little karmic fact there. And by bringing Germany back into the world fold, bringing Japan back into the world fold, embracing our enemy was an enormous karmic opportunity that fortunately the world and the allies embraced. Instead of punishing and driving them into the ground, we embraced them. Even though people were still really angry, it was the right thing to do.
And it helped that right thing to do, even though doing the right thing is not always easy, right?
No,
it's a karmic test.
And people were angry. 70 million people died in World War II.
That we know of.
And the country that suffered the largest number of losses was Russia.
Right.
At the time. And not only that, they had the Bolshevik Revolution and all the things that were happening afterwards.
Going on.
And they lost almost that many more after Stalin came in. Yeah. And so Russia has suffered greatly. So understanding that the karma of how governments behave, what can turn with one individual can make an enormous difference. Mm-hmm. And we all do the best we can. And if you can't change the karma of the government, or you don't like who's in office in any particular government of the world, what you can do is the best you can in your own world to be the best person you can.
Because what we do in our own world echoes out.
Speaking of that,
yes,
one of the shows that had massive impact was the show on imposing on your angels.
I was going to mention that. You must be psychic or reading my mind.
Or reading the script. We actually do have
did we have it on the script? I haven't been following the script. Yes, sorry.
I have. Go ahead. Take it away.
Impose on your angels. So this is a tool that we all have access to. I'm not calling angels tools, by the way, like that. I don't mean it like that. I'm making her speechless again.
Angels are spiritual opportunities to request help.
Yes. So the ability to ask an angel for help in any situation earns that angel karma also, because they have the opportunity to help you.
Because angels are also evolving.
Right. And if you know, and I think in that show I gave the example of my daughter got her driver's license and she wanted to go surfing that first Saturday that she had her license. And we're like, okay, of course. And at the last minute I pulled back because I said, no, I don't want you to go because you're going to get to a car accident, which almost caused World War III in my house. And I knew that I had to let her go, but I also knew there was going to be an accident. And so I literally, I prayed like I hadn't prayed in a long time, even though I pray all the time, packed her car full of angels to help protect her. And sure enough, she had left that Saturday morning early, got on the freeway for only one or two exits. And she was hit by a drunk driver. And we get the phone call, of course, that, every parent dreads, but thankfully it wasn't that bad. But the CHP, the highway patrol officer, literally said to me, once we got there, I don't know why her car didn't roll. I don't know why she wasn't injured, but she got really lucky.
And karmically, was that luck or proper prior planning prevented pitifully poor performance?
Ooh, all those P's.
Got it right this time.
So the Impose on Your Angels show talks about how we can request angels, what that looks like, what they can do for us, and what we can also do for angels. Because when we do ask for their help, we help them on their spiritual path as well.
If you think you're imposing, get over it, because they are standing by and they do want to help. And as we said in that show, all you have to do is say, I hereby request an angel to help me with. Say what you want. Ask for what you want. You can certainly do that. It works beautifully. And we also wanted to point out that you're going to study karma for the rest of your life. All of us, even though we're not doing a show about karma, as we do this new show, we will be incorporating elements of all of our karmic paths and how, if you're helping a ghost, or in this situation, if you do X, you create a different karmic path for the living and the dead. And I think it's exceedingly exciting. So again, karma will be part of Ghost Helpers. And as we wanted to reiterate that
we're going to be talking about a ghost story or ghost stories, personal stories that have happened to us or that we've experienced
or help somebody with
that will help people understand what some things may look like, what they may appear to be, how to fix them. And it will be mostly about ghosts, but sometimes the paranormal is not just about ghosts.
It isn't. We'll tie it together, but I think you're going to find some interesting surprises and a lot of really fun things. And we'd like to thank everyone at Transformation Talk Radio for standing by us through all of our episodes and our technical awakenings as we learn how to use all of this amazing equipment. Thank you to our producer, Kat Grebe, and to Dr. Pat and to Kim and Jessica and Linda and everyone who's certainly been there for us for this show. And we're looking forward to truly enjoying that partnership again, because none of us does these things alone. Frankly, the karma of enjoying your partnership with those people who support you is a very beautiful thing. So thank you to all of them.
And starting September 5th at 10 a.m., we are hosting the inaugural Ghost Helpers show. And we're going to talk about ghost stories and unlock some of the mysteries of the paranormal. And we hope you'll be able to join us. And if you have a ghost story that you want to share with us that we can share on the radio as well.
Or a question about ghosts that you think a lot of people have, ask us.
Email us at contact@ghosthelpers.com. Contact@ghosthelpers.com. And with that, we want to thank the Oil Lounge for sponsoring this last episode of the Karmic Path.
And we will see you next week.
Thank you for spending time with us on the Karmic Path radio show. Listen live every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time as we explore the fascinating elements of karma and how to make those critical connections between spirituality, science, and psychology. Both of us are seasoned psychics living ordinary lives in public education and the military. Tina and I both have a deep-rooted dedication to learning how the unseen world works and to share this knowledge. Learn how to create a heightened sense of understanding and karmic awareness for greater personal balance with the Karmic Path. For more information, visit thekarmicpath.com.